5, 16, 19, 21, 30, 3 and 10. Check results. You remember?
Right guys, pod a day, Dr. Way, all that good stuff. 200 and, sorry, crankling in the background there. Crankling isn't a word. 200 and, if I had to guess, 23? No, it's definitely not. Of pod a day, Dr. Way. And we have some things to go through. We have some things. In what order, I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna go the boxing route first. The boxing route. I don't consistently watch boxing. Actually, I never watch it. Even when there's a big fight on, it's like I'll go on Twitter and I'll see the result. But I have no real interest to watch it. But I do have interest in the result and who I want to win. Like, there might be a big fight on and I'll be like, oh, I really want this guy to win. And even if I really want them to win, maybe because it's pay-per-view, was I said that right? Or maybe it's just because, I don't know, it's a lot of waiting around. It's a lot of like undercards. It's like, okay, and they got to walk out and they get in the thing, and it's like the rounds and the break and the round again and the break, and it's like, and you wait. It's just a lot of waiting around, and if you're not fucking really into it, because like a lot of sports, it's like you get sports where it's a lot of the game, short break, more game. I just feel like, right, with like more European centric sports, it is just heavy on the sport. This isn't to do with boxing, but like I like what I'm trying to say is I like how football is, you know, the game starts, there's no interruptions, you then get half time, you then get the second half. Half time's 15 minutes, and then you leave. Whereas basketball, it's like, you know, you can call timeouts. You have, firstly, it's 4 quarters, so it's stopping 4 times. The game isn't, the match, what's the right word? Though the game isn't even as long. Like football's 90 minutes, I think basketball's an hour. But yet it's into, and I get you got to run like quicker and a small, you know, but the point is it's 4 quarters and you have timeouts and there's like advertisements all the time, like this free throw is sponsored by Gatorade, you know what I mean? It's just too much stop start. I want to watch the sport, you know, type thing. And then you got like boxing where there's all this build up, there's this press conversation, you got to wait. It's like the fights that you want to see happen never happen. Finally, a fight's happened that you want to see. The press conference, you got to go through all of this bullshit, the weigh-in and all of this and the shit talk and the undercards all leading up to it. And then the fight, and they walk out and it's like people could be like, that was an amazing fight, and it might be because it was like a first round knockout. And it's like all of that to lead up to like this very short thing, you know. It's kind of like how like athletics, you do all this training and stuff just to go to the Olympics and run for 9 seconds. But obviously the Olympics has all different events in it, so it's different. But like, yeah, boxing's just this thing. It's like all this build, and then it's like, you know, a couple rounds and it's done. Um, yeah, I only was thinking about boxing recently because I saw like Eddie Hearn and Simon Jordan arguing about whatever. I don't know. Like, did Conor Ben take the steroids or not? I don't even know. I know he got cleared and stuff, but we all know that doesn't definitely mean anything. Is the rematch on? That's a type of fight. That's another example of a fight where I have vested interest for no reason. I just do, I guess, between the Conor Ben and Chris Eubank Jr. Is his name Chris Eubank as well? And if I could choose who I wanted to win, I would say Conor Ben. I would love it, and I think I deserve it. So it was a shame. And again, it's like you wait with this fight, and it's like, oh, drugs, we got to stop it. Anthony Joshua was meant to fight Chisora, right? Or was it someone else? Regardless of who he was meant to fight, no one wanted to see him really fight him anyway. And then that guy, he can't even do it now for the same reason. So it's like the guy we didn't even really want to see him fight anyway. He's not even going to fight, and now he's going to fight a guy we even less want to see, I think. So that's been going on. But you know what else is going on? You know, outside of, you know, actual boxing, we got the influencer stuff because Jake Paul beat, oh, what's his fucking name? KSI beat Joe Fournier, and Jake Paul just beat the UFC fighter, and I can see his face. I don't remember his name. But he's loved amongst UFC people to a point that's just like, it's like cringe. It's like anything he does, they champion. Like, oh my god, what a fucking legend! He's such a fucking legend. He's just one of those people who like, he is who he is. He's not someone I'd get on with, but he is who he is. That's just him. It's more that the people who love him so much and love are just people I definitely wouldn't get on with. Like that's just the energy I get from the tweets I've seen. But anyway, he beat him. That was bound to happen. Like even that guy knew it. He was collecting the paycheck. Jake Paul wins. He knocks him down in like the eighth round or whatever. Guy almost falls out of the ring. People complain, say Jake Paul's not even good, and it's just one of these things. Like Jake Paul is good in a YouTube space. He's not. He's not. You know, he's not a fucking actual boxer. You know, he's been doing it for like 4 or 5 years maybe. On the, like people say like, oh my god, he's actually shit, as if like he's meant to be good, and like he's okay for all things considered. But like people go on like, oh my god, this guy's actually dead. Like it's like, yeah, we know. Like this isn't. I don't know why people are surprised. Like for example, Tommy Fury technically has beaten him. He's like boxing his head off and stuff. Still in that fight, Jake Paul makes him stumble. To me, I watch that and go, I'm impressed by the fact that this guy has made you, the guy doing it his whole life, you know, hit the deck, you know, essentially. And even when the whole rounds viewing went to split decision or whatever, people take out of that, oh, second he's in there for real boxer, he's showing that he's dog shit and this and that. It's like, people just look at the, like, with that lens just because they hate Jake Paul. Whereas I'm like, okay, yeah, you didn't beat Tommy Fury, the actual boxer here. And no shit, that was your first boxing match. You know, before that you've been fighting you know, athletes and like celebrities and like fucking, you know, like, and like the whole KSI Jake Paul thing, I'd prefer KSI to win, honestly. But like, in terms of people so definitely like, oh my god, that performance of Jake Paul, yikes, KSI would definitely beat him. It's like, I'm not, I actually think you shouldn't write KSI off, and I think there's a good chance he would beat him, just because he's wild and he has a dog in him. But like the fact that people basing it, but the fact that people who are saying KSI would definitely win are basing it off of what? Because to be honest, I am like, Jake Paul knocked out like best knockout still in like the whole YouTube boxing space, right? Tyrone Woodley, you know, and it's like as much as the UFC guys, this isn't boxing. It's like, wasn't he like a heavyweight champ at some point, right, in UFC? And the guy's got a chin on him. Like, to be able to sleep him like that, though. Like, I get beating these guys, but like, that's impressive. He's kind of plateaued, I think. But like, KSI effect, like, you know what? He's not a boxer, but he's closer to a boxer than these YouTubers who KSI is dispatching of, you know. And I get he's actually beat a boxer and Jake Paul hasn't, so he has that over him. But like that boxer was Pineda, who like is about as big as me, and Jake Paul's boxer was Tommy Fury, who, you know, is a fucking unit. And I get that doesn't always necessarily mean something, but it kind of also does. He's a big guy. But that being said, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, I'm so beyond the whole hating on the Jake Paul thing. Like, he's like annoying, and I wouldn't like want to be in a room with him. But to me, it's like I'm over this whole like, oh my god, he's so annoying just because he was cringing on YouTube like 7 years ago or 6 whatever years ago every day, bro. You know, I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. Like, if he didn't have that whole history on the YouTube thing, people just wouldn't care because he's just like every other UFC fighter or boxer, annoying shit talker, you know, overconfident type guy. Although I saw him on like Impulsive, and like Logan is always like pushing against him because he's like got the business of KSI now and stuff. And like people who go on like, oh, Jake Paul is a genius, he's this genius, the way he's got everyone talking about him, that, like when you actually sit down there and listen to him in like interviews, you realize he's not a genius. Like, people love throwing the genius word around. It's like, just because you annoy people online and therefore get them to talk about you, that doesn't now just mean you're a marketing genius. And like Logan's like, why wouldn't you allow us to like sponsor Prime on your event, or for you for them to on the DAZN fight, which he did, or for them to promote the next KSI fight, which Logan's also on. That's kind of lame. Jake's like, I had no reason to need to do that, which like, I don't like KSI, why am I going to promote his shit? And then Logan's like, because we did the same to yours, like he promoted your shit. And he's like, oh, that's because they're dumb, they don't know business. Dumb fuckos, don't know business, fuck them. That's what he says, right? It's like, they're stupid. And then Logan's like, if you were really smart, Jake, you know, you would promote the fight and you would have Prime on, because it's like, what does he say? He says it's not a or space, it's an and space, and how in the event they're both like leveling up on each other, and it's like I'm knocking you down and grabbing the bar, but then you know I'm raising the ceiling, but then that allows you to then knock me and then raise the ceiling and punch up even further, and like we can just keep climbing on top of each other and get higher and higher and push it further and further, and ultimately it creates conversation. And this is how you know like the actual, like, I'm not saying Logan's a genius either, but like he did also manage to grab his career from a pretty dire situation and flip it completely, and like, you know, he's just, you know, Prime, I just saw today, is now sponsor of Bayern Munich, and it's like they very easily could have, because that first night glimpse of the photo, I thought it said RB Leipzig or something, and it very easily could have took that route. They could have been like, okay, who's willing to like for us to, we can sponsor or whatever. Like, is it teams like West Ham or like RB Leipzig, or maybe we go for a team like, but no, they like, maybe they held out for a while before they could get someone, but they went for straight away Arsenal, you know what I mean? And they challenged the next season. And like, they're going for, okay, we only want to get the best teams in the league. They went for Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Arsenal, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, right? He is quite the flip of a career, you know, he's in the WWE, he's doing his shit, right? He's not exactly failing. And now he's got a fight on the undercard. And, you know, that's how you know, like, okay, Logan actually gets this a lot more. Like, Jay gets it on such a surface level. Like, oh, I don't like KSI. Why am I going to promote KSI? He's my rival. I don't like him. Why am I going to promote him? Smart. I'm a smart businessman. If they promote me on theirs, they're dumb, dumbo. And it's like, no, the reason why Logan's way smarter is because he understands that, like, by promoting your rival's fight and this and that, is it's conversation. When people see, if people see Jake Paul get knocked out in that fight, you know, they're immediately thinking about KSI and vice versa, because they're so interwoven, if that even makes sense. So it's like, you're creating a conversation and the buzz, and you're reminding each other of each other and the audiences of each other, and like, you're actually going to do better numbers and create more than if you just don't talk about it. And it's just like, I can't lie, Logan's kind of that guy, pal. He's kind of that guy. It's just kind of crazy, like the spin he's done. And I get it. There's people on YouTube who, like, whenever Logan Paul does something successful, like the Bayern Munich thing or like this and that, there's always like these YouTubers comment under like, when you gonna but when you gonna address the scam you did with the Pokemon cards and the Bitcoin or whatever, and you're actually gonna pay the people back, because people keep going on about that. And I don't know the details of the scam or whatever. People are gonna go about Logan's this awful person, but like, I don't really give a fuck. There's probably reasons behind it. And I don't know the extent of the scam. But at the same time, is it not a scam to like? It's not a scam, but like, you know how like YouTubers used to promote like coin websites and stuff like this and that, and it was getting extortion amounts of money. It's like Logan probably promoted some dodgy Bitcoin thing, promising you success, and it probably tanked, and like it probably was like a like, join my startup plan and you'll learn how to make the most of it. And it was probably some dumb shit like that. And it's like, have common sense and don't invest into that. If you were dumb enough to invest into that and lose bare shit on it, it's like, that's an L, and I feel bad for you, because like, just because you were slightly misinformed and you did something you shouldn't have done, and you didn't deserve to lose houses over it. That being said, it's like, I don't know, like, how much of this can we, like, I get it, it's a shitty thing to do, but like, it's like, it's a shitty thing to do, but he did it, and it's not fucking illegal. I don't know what he did, but I'm just like, all right, man, it's like he promoted some shit that was bad, okay. It's just, you know, it's not a muffin, there's like people there's people online who make YouTubers, and the whole job is like, I'm the guy, I'm the savior of YouTube, I'm the white knight, and I go around and these bad big boys, and I make these 30 breakdown deep dives onto people, and I crush them and I expose them, and because I'm doing justice. And it's just like, okay, sure, I really don't care about that side of YouTube, to be honest. I get you're technically doing the right thing, and you're the good guy in this situation. I'm the prick, but yeah, whatever. That's what I would say. Boxing. Was there anything else on the boxing? Nah, not really. See you in the next one.
Here with the kids, and they had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. He was like a hero.